Crime is sexy.
Real prison escape attempts caught on camera. We will take you on a journey to witness some of the most daring, creative, and cunning prison escape attempts captured on camera. From inmates dressing up as their daughters to drug lords digging mile-long tunnels, you'll see how these prisoners were able to outsmart prison officials and law enforcement to regain their freedom. So sit back, relax, and prepare to witness the most extraordinary prison escape attempts ever caught on camera. Number 10. We give you the Uncuffable Woman. Amber Gonzalez, the 30-year-old from Wisconsin, lands on our list as the next escape artist. This sly woman was apprehended on charges of theft and drug paraphernalia possession and was thrown into a holding cell. Undeterred by being handcuffed to a wall, she was hell-bent on escaping. Caught on CCTV footage, she exhibited impressive agility as she wriggled and squirmed her way out of the cuffs while simultaneously devising an escape plan on her phone. Despite the cuffs being tightened to the maximum, she never gave up. With a newfound freedom, Amber made a daring escape through an emergency exit and took a treacherous path through people's yards until she chanced upon a truck driver at a nearby gas station. However, her lack of foresight proved her undoing. In a catastrophic turn of events, she and the truck driver decided to return to the same hotel where she'd been arrested. Her disguise was not convincing, and the staff quickly identified her, leading to her re-arrest within an hour. After this, the authorities made sure to keep a closer eye on her. Number 9, we have the advantage taker. Occasionally, the stars align and a perfect opportunity to break free presents itself to prisoners without any need for meticulous planning. Such was the case for Mike Maldonado at the Porter County Jail. As Mike was being transported to the jail, the car he was in pulled into the Sally Port of the facility where prisoners are brought in. The police officer left the car to discuss the transfer with another officer, but as they did, the electric car that separated the car from freedom hadn't closed yet. Without hesitation, Mike seized the opportunity and bolted out of the car, darting underneath the gate as it was closing. The garage door finished shutting before the police could react, giving Mike some much-needed time to make his escape. The authorities searched for him for 2 hours but were unable to locate him. As fate would have it, a day later there was a report of a stolen vehicle that was linked to Maldonado, and he was eventually found. But for a brief moment, Mike Maldonado was a free man thanks to his quick thinking and lightning-fast reflexes. Number 8. The Snake Man. Take a look at the daring escape of 3 inmates at Lincoln County as it unfolded, as captured by CCTV footage. Swiftly converging at a corner, the trio proceeded to nimbly navigate their way into the ventilation system. This wasn't their first rodeo. In fact, this was a well-rehearsed routine for the inmates who'd perfected the art of crawling through the ventilation shafts and emerging into the kitchen at will. This clandestine maneuver allowed them to indulge in a snack whenever their hearts desired, right under the nose of the authorities. After some trial and error, the resourceful inmates managed to break free from their kitchen captivity. They then devised a cunning plan to make their grand escape. While one of the 4 was swiftly apprehended, the remaining trio managed to evade the authorities for a few days. However, their luck soon ran out, and on the 4th day, the last escapee was recaptured and returned to confinement. But the truly astounding aspect of this tale is that this was not the prisoner's first time attempting to flee. In a remarkable display of persistence, 2 of the convicts had previously broken out of the same prison just 3 months prior, using the exact same route. It seems that the penitentiary was slow to learn its lesson. The sliding man for number 7. The events in Garland County involved Derek Estelle, a 34-year-old inmate who was captured on camera speaking on the phone, seemingly to his family. The officers were unaware that Estelle was biding his time, waiting for the right opportunity to escape. He'd coordinated with fellow inmates to create a diversion, and when the officers were distracted, Estelle sprang into action. With audacious bravery, he vaulted over a counter and leapt through a window. The video footage shows him scrambling out while an officer gives chase. Once outside, Estelle bolts towards his waiting getaway car, which was poised for a quick escape. Despite the officer's diligent attempt to apprehend the vehicle, it accelerated away. Nevertheless, the police had already recorded the car's description, and as a result, Estelle's luck was short-lived. After discovering the abandoned vehicle, authorities embarked on a 3-week search for Estelle, who had sought refuge in a deserted dwelling with his girlfriend, purportedly the driver of the escape car. Estelle's mother and stepfather were also charged for helping him escape. This shows that some families family members are willing to go to extreme lengths to support their loved ones. Number 6 on the list, the drag queen. When it comes to wild prison escapes, few can match the sheer audacity of Brazilian drug dealer Clovino da Silva. His plan was simple: convince his daughter to visit him in prison, dress up as her, and walk out of the front door. But there was just one problem: his actual daughter was still in the cell. Undeterred, da Silva donned a black wig, glasses, bra, t-shirt, and even a silicone mask. At roughly the same height as his daughter and with a similar build, he hoped to pass unnoticed. However, the guards quickly became suspicious, and in the footage we see them remove the glasses and wig, exposing his elaborate disguise. The police questioned whether da Silva's daughter was involved in the plot, as 8 others were believed to have helped smuggle in the wig, mask, bra, and t-shirt. The prison guards were left red-faced at how they missed such a brazen escape attempt. Though unsuccessful, da Silva's wild scheme certainly deserves a spot in the annals of prison escape lore. Number 5, we give you the Bulldozer. Our next escape tale transports us to the bustling city of Copenhagen, Denmark. The incarcerated rebels opted for a novel approach, eschewing the age-old practices of scaling walls or tunneling to freedom. Instead, they sought the aid of a trusted ally to bulldoze a gaping hole in the penitentiary wall, gambling with their fate. Video evidence shows the bulldozer relentlessly plowing into the wall, forming an opening for the daring escapees to make their break for freedom. Interestingly, the prison break coincided with a football match. One can only speculate whether the prisoners were motivated by an insatiable craving to witness the game or an innate urge to lose themselves in the throngs of spectators. The blurry video footage is not your typical CCTV footage. Rather, it was captured by an ingenious cameraman outside the prison walls in 1995, a time before the advent of camera phones. The cameraman's involvement in the escape has sparked intense speculation. Was he in cahoots with the escapees, or did he simply happen to be in the right place at the right time? One of the fugitives in the video was none other than Brian Bo Larsen, a name that strikes fear into the hearts of every Danish prison guard. Larsen's 1995 escape marked the beginning of his career as a prison escape artist. He fled again in 2004 by hiding in a container of leaves that was hauled out of the prison. A decade later, he cut through the bars of his cell with a hacksaw and climbed up to the prison roof using rope ladders. Fourth on the spot, the vloggers. These daring prison escapees deserve recognition for their bold and daring feat. Rather than relying on typical CCTV footage, they decided to take matters into their own hands and capture their escape on a smuggled cell phone. The footage reveals the inmates squirming through a tight vent and navigating the building's plumbing. One of the escapees even flashes a thumbs up before vanishing into the vent. Eventually, they reach the roof of the prison where they ascend to freedom. Their joyous freedom was short-lived, however, as they were just recaptured by authorities after just a week on the run. Prior to their capture, the group documented their hideout on camera, smoking marijuana and sipping Jack Daniels. It was a bold and daring display of freedom, but ultimately proved to be short-lived as they were once again incarcerated behind prison bars. Number 3, we have the Silver Tongues. These slick escape artists didn't need magic to break free from prison. They had something far more powerful at their disposal: their silver tongues. In Texas, 3 inmates sweet-talked a female guard into helping them make a daring escape. Thanks to her cooperation, the prisoners had everything they needed to pull off the heist of a lifetime. The guard shut down the alarms, unlocked the doors, and gave the inmates a false head count, buying them a precious 11 minutes of lead time. Dressed in their stolen white clothes, the prisoners simply strolled out of the gates as calm and collected as if they were on a casual afternoon walk. Meanwhile, the guard was beside herself, her hands running through her hair in desperation. She was arrested the very next day, but the smooth-talking fugitives managed to stay on the lam for an incredible 5 days before they were finally caught. Needless to say, no prison officials have fallen under their spell since. Second spot, we have the worming escape. Taking the number 2 spot is a daring escape that would have made the legendary Harry Houdini proud. Rustam Sharudinov, a 25-year-old burglar and thief, had a unique talent for squeezing himself into tight spaces. He put that skill to the test when he stripped down naked and slipped through the food hatch in his cell. Once he was free, he reached back in to grab some clothes before making a mad dash for freedom. This brazen escape was captured on CCTV with footage of a fully grown man emerging from what appears to be a door giving birth, surely raising some eyebrows. It was 4 p.m., so it wasn't even the dead of night. It's a wonder that none of the guards noticed the unusual activity. Sharudinov hailed from the Republic of Dagestan in Russia, and there's little information to suggest that he was ever recaptured. First on the list is none other than Al Chapo. Taking the top spot on the list is none other than the infamous prison escape artist Al Chapo, aka Joachim Guzman. In this jaw-dropping footage, we witness him pacing back and forth in his cell before suddenly dropping to the floor in a secret underground tunnel he'd cunningly built behind the shower. Known as one of the world's most notorious criminals, Guzman didn't have to spend years meticulously planning. Instead, he was hammering away loudly, but the guards outside turned a deaf ear to the noise, giving him the window of opportunity he needed to make his daring escape. It's no wonder he's considered one of the greatest prison escape artists of all time. As you watch the footage, El Chapo can be seen pacing the small cell, waiting for his chance to make a break for it. On his desk, a mobile phone rests, evidence of the careful planning and coordination involved in the escape. When the time comes, he turns up the volume on the TV to muffle any noise and slips into the tunnel. The tunnel itself stretches a mile underground, and it's clear that this was no amateur job. El Chapo's drug cartel had experience building tunnels to smuggle their illicit goods across the border between Mexico and the US, and they put that expertise to use in constructing his escape route. The tunnel ends at a nearby property, coincidentally owned by El Chapo's wife, but it's the ingenuity and skill that went into creating the tunnel that's truly impressive. Like a modern-day Sisyphus, the infamous Mexican drug lord Joaquin Guzman, aka El Chapo, attempted to escape from prison once again. This time, his loyal followers went to great lengths, building an extensive tunnel system complete with lighting, ventilation, and even a rail system. The rail was fitted with an adapted motorcycle, which was used to transport tools for the dig. In 2014, their plan succeeded, and El Chapo walked free, enjoying 2 years of freedom before being caught again. However, his luxurious life in the shadows was short-lived, as he was eventually apprehended and transported to a notorious American prison. Despite the elaborate escape plan, he now finds himself locked up, perhaps dreaming of his next great escape. And that's it for our video on real prison escape attempts caught on camera. It's amazing to see the creative and often daring attempts made by prisoners to break free from confinement. While some managed to evade capture for a period of time, the majority were eventually caught and brought to justice. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more fascinating content like this.